All right. So, initially we recorded this video, but because I was a boomer and I didn't have the right audio output in, we're gonna just glance over what we were talking about in our VOD review session here. So the first thing was just trade patterns with the support. One of the main things you want to do as a ADC is match your trade patterns with whatever support you have. If you have a engaged champion like Nautilus, you wait for the hooks because the windows are way too high. If you're playing with something like Sona, her trade potential is more of a short trade. It's more of a burst. If you're playing with something else like a shielding champion, you could just walk up, auto attack a few times. As long as you're playing off this shield cooldown. Let's see. So a lot of pretty much what we were talking about with this gameplay in particular, where the fact that we had a pretty massive lead, a pretty substantial lead, but weren't able to convert it. And the lead that we could have gotten, we actually could have gotten it a lot earlier if we played a lot safer. A lot of the times we were getting some free kills here and there, but we were also greeting for those kills as well. We were burning flash for those, we were overextending a lot for those, and we didn't really have to. It put us in a situation where we get ganked, and that's not what we want to do as any type of champion, period. We don't want to put ourselves in a position where we can be overextended, especially as ADC, because there's no way to get out. In situations like these, before you shove up, you have to ask yourself, can I realistically shove this wave before the next wave shows up? If it's no, let that wave that is coming stack up so that way you're not overextended as much as possible, right? If it stacks up here, we can still clear the wave, and then we can shove it from here rather than shoving it from a closer point towards that tower. It's easier for them to show up and do their thing. And again, if you got any questions of what I was talking about and it pops up now, feel free to ask.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's pretty much what happened. You got ganked.
I ganked, but it was sort of a terrible time for him.
Right, that was really I don't know what he was thinking, honestly. He literally could have just waited for Thresh. He had like 3 seconds to wait on Thresh coming back, and then he would have been able to make something happen. Going for this kill here, again, as an ADC, we don't do anything extra. We got her out of the area. We pushed out a lane. We wanted the safe gold. We want the gold where it's like, okay, I don't have to do anything to get this gold. It's free. We have a wave here. We have a wave here. We have one more wave coming, and then we can possibly get a plate. That's a lot more gold than we can get if we got this kill, plus we died.
Yeah, because greeting with that flash cost me a death.
Right, right. Because that's the same thing later on that happened. We didn't have our flash. Because we didn't have that flash, we weren't able to get out. It was a good cleanse though with that ignite, but it doesn't really matter because it's Zeri. She'd go, she had flash, you weren't getting out. And that was a death that we just didn't have to have. We just got an extra 300 gold. Cool, but we could have probably had the same thing. If we would have just shoved instead of going after the chase, because she has to recall. Recall is 8 seconds. Then she has to walk back. You kill her, she's only sitting there for what? And then she has home guards when she comes back, so she's faster. You basically said, hey, here's a free way to get back to lane faster. You're punishing her less by killing her. That's really weird how Riot actually set that up. You're punished harder for killing the laner than you actually are for not killing the laner. Weird.
I have noticed that a couple times in the game. Like, it'll seem like I kill them, but I lose in the end.
Right. Because, yeah, she got the home guard. She got to sit in base for a lot less time. But if she had the recall, she has to have those 8 seconds. Then she has to wait for herself to heal up. And then she has to walk back to lane. You would have definitely had a lot more gold in the long run because you would have been able to get the next wave plus the plate. So, yep, again, it's about getting that free gold. You're playing towards mid to late game. You're not doing anything other than that. If we could just get that free gold, if we could just wait for people to just hand us free kills, it's easy. Here, I didn't say this the first time, but I would say I would like that you would have froze this wave here. If you stop auto attacking here, then this means that they have to walk up, and you see they're afraid. If they walk up, they just die. Period. So if you know that that's what's gonna happen, keep it frozen here. If we would have just auto attacked it and lasted it, your wave's already big. You can freeze it here, or their wave is big. I'm sorry, not yours. You can freeze it here, and they have to walk up. Boom. Don't do anything but last hit. Just keep it here. If she decides to sit back, she's losing experience. If she decides to sit back, she's losing gold. And if she does that for about 2 minutes, you're gonna be up. Well, I guess depending on your last hit skills, right? You're gonna be up on CS. which is huge. But you see, we're pushing, pushing, pushing. Why? Because we want kills. We're not actually thinking about goals in the long term. We're not thinking about the ramifications of doing the right play, building that snowball lead. It's like I just need the kills so then I can get the more kills that I get, the more gold that I get, the more gold that I get. That's the more items that I can get. Also, it feels like if I kill you, I'm punishing you. That's the more visual thing. But like this is a macro play. Freezing it so you can't walk up, that's more of a macro play. You don't see. You don't see it come to fruition until later. But you are actually still making a play here. And this is why, sometimes pro play seems a little bit slow. Because a lot of the stuff that they're doing, you can't really notice it with what they're doing until the play breaks out. So it'd have been the same situation there if you would have froze it, because she would have been back there. And you would have been safe. And this lane would have been 100% over already. Again, I didn't catch that the first time. But it's huge. It's huge, it's huge, it's huge. If you have a position where they walk up, they die, freeze that bad boy. Especially if they shove it.
Yeah, because we would have been able to beat them at that point, 2v2.
Right, exactly. Okay, this little fight happens, whatever, doing your thing. Just another greed play, and we talked about this too. It's just the fact that we're just looking for kills. Honestly, like that's one of the things that gets you killed the most. It's not even like you're not positioning well. It's not like, oh, I'm getting outplayed. It's literally because I'm greeting. I'm greeting. And into champs like this, like I said before, Swain, Zeri, you said Alawi, like those champions that require champs to disengage and then re-engage, no matter what elo you're in, it's a very hard concept to think about because it's very far few in between. Not many champs play like that, right? Kog'Maw actually is one of those. He has his W, and so you want to leave him alone too. But again,
yeah, when his W is active, you want to try to get away from that because
right,
that hurts.
right. Lethal Temple's the same way too, actually. Where you have to disengage off of certain things, and again,
It's
a lot of
like
players don't do that.
level 1 Kog'Maw can spit on you and take a fifth of your health.
Yeah, it's real actually. It's actually real. Okay, same thing. You could actually freeze it again, or at least try. Just
The
let her
last
shove.
game of the day last night, I actually took the wrong runes. I had first strike Kog'Maw.
That sounds interesting. I guess it'd be fine if you went AP.
I didn't. I still did AD and we won, but
You could definitely tell you probably lost a lot of damage there
yeah,
off the first strike.
yeah, especially late game. But I did get more money.
I mean, true. Yeah,
I
this is
was
good.
I was earning like a minion's worth every time I W on him.
Yeah, because if you went AP, I think that would have been like fantastic. We knew that Hecarim was top, so we were safe to get these plates. We got a double kill there. We didn't have to flash, but we got the double kill there, and that was a handed to us kill. It was like, okay, they did everything. Thanks for giving it to me. Cool. Those are the kills that we want to look for as an ADC. Doesn't matter which ADC you are. If we could just set it up to where like they're just giving us the free gold, that's what we want to do because we need to play our butt off mid to late game. Period. It doesn't matter what happens. So why would you put yourself in a position to play harder early when we already know we have a harder game to play out later? Less risk. This is what I was talking about with the trade pattern. Because Nautilus has nothing else left, we can't continue to fight. And which is why this ended up in a very, very bad situation. There's just nothing left. If we would have played off his hook initially, we actually would have been able to kill him. But again, we went with our trade, we used our abilities. Our stuff had a high cooldown. Once we were done, we started to walk away. Then he went in, and it's like, oh, well, now I have nothing. And then you're like, okay, here I come. All my stuff is up. I'm coming now. And then he's like, oh, I have nothing. And then it's like, it's just back and forth, but we both just have nothing because our windows are just not the same. And so if we did trade together, it'd be a lot easier. And this goes for, like I said, every single support. So sometimes you have a support that doesn't do anything and they sit behind you, unfortunately. And man, I hate when that happens. But yeah, is what it is.
What do I do when a support just sort of sits behind me most of the time?
You just have to play out the farm game. I mean, granted, you're playing Kog'Maw, so the farm game is what you play, period. But yeah, when that happens, you just can't really do much. It sucks. It really does. But yeah, the kills will come to you. Trust. The kills will come to you. The right fights will come to you. And then when that happens, play those fights well. But if they're not going to be able to force anything, they're not trading, you're going to be pushed under your tower. You're going to be getting harassed. It sucks, but that happens. Usually if you play a stronger champ, though, players tend to be okay. Or if you play champs, people understand. One of my AD carries that I played a lot was Aphelios. And climbing him people just had no damn clue what he does, and they would tell me, "They have no clue what he does." Sorry. I was like,
Well, that's because they didn't want to read War and Peace.
True.
Honestly, he's a fun champ, but
He is,
you
but
know,
he has a lot to go off of. And again, if you don't play with him properly, he does lose out on a lot of damage. But that's the fun part about him.
it's all about the gun rotations, right?
Exactly. This right here is what we're talking about with not overcommitting to fights. As an ADC, you always want to make sure that you give yourself a window to get out. If we sat, was this worded? I'm curious. It wasn't. So if we sat here and waited for them to pop out and we never walked out ourselves, it gives us enough time for us to see everything play out first. Once Hecarim shows up and we were in this bush, we could be like, okay, well, I'm just going to leave now. Bye. And we don't ever die. The problem is a lot of players put themselves in positions where they overcommit and there's no way to get out. And this is every single ADC. And the point that I made is any game that you play where there is a squishy champion or a squishy character, you're gonna die. If it's an MMO and it's a tank, and then you have like a healer and you have like a DPS or whatever, like if the boss turns on either of those, he's probably gonna one-shot them. What's the difference here? There's no difference. You're playing a champion or a character that does a lot of damage. Therefore, you're not able to survive things that a typical champion would because you just do too much. It wouldn't be balanced.
Hecarim's the raid boss.
That's true. That's true. Tank Kog'Maw was a pain in the ass before, though.
I have built Tank Kog'Maw recently.
It's nuts,
and
isn't it?
it does really well. So I'd still start with the Bork, but then I'd get Heartsteel and Titanic.
Yeah, it's like
and just walk at the enemy team and get Runans.
It's nuts.
Yeah. But I thought, oh, I have a tank support. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
With just dealing damage. I think, like, at the very end of the game, I end up with a tank mythic, but I think the game's already over.
Yeah, I think that, like I said, I think a lot of this game was just the fact that it wasn't even just you that was overcommitting. This typically happens in any elo that is, I think, like below Diamond itself, maybe like Plat 2, whatever. But I think it's like people in Diamond still kind of do it if they're like D4. But pretty much it's the syndrome of like we want to treat League of Legends and we want to treat solo queue like it's an actual game that we see in pro play, where like we help our team, we rotate together, we do this together, and that's just not how it works. Subconsciously, we're assuming we're playing a team game, therefore we play as a team. That's not how solo queue works. And so we put ourselves in situations where we're all dying. Like, as an example, this Kiana's trying to help the Kayn, and this dude just is trying to steal. Why are you trying to help me? I'm trying to just steal it, and I'm probably going to die. So what are you doing? But again, that subconscious of it's a team game. I got to try to help you. And even though she knew she could, look, she didn't do anything. Why are you there? Go farm. Like, what are you doing? But that happens so much. And so if you can catch yourself doing that, and put yourself in a position to where we're not too overcommitted, we can't just leave the situation, period. It's good. It's really good. It's huge.
It's funny, I don't have as much of an issue doing that with Victor.
That's true, actually. I didn't realize that until now. But again, it's probably because, you know, you're a champ that, or I guess a role that relies on someone else.
Yeah.
So this is just you weren't paying attention to where set was coming until it was too late. But my thought process was if we were trying to get to our later here, we could just walk this way and then loop back. Or we could just walk straight up. But the thing is, when you're playing a team fight, you got to be really cautious about what vision you have and don't have. So, for example, we walk through this way. So, in what world is there anybody there? Theoretically, there shouldn't be anybody in this area. We didn't check this way. Our team was kind of down here, and we just don't know where anybody is over here, though. So, if we were to leave, we have to go this way, or we have to go this way. This way is really risky because there could be someone in here. But I mean, granted, the situation where you were, you don't have much of an option at that point. Then he just flew in and tried to.
And they were all there, and only 4 of us were.
Right. So now we're at the team fighting stage of an ADC. The one thing that we have to do is just pay attention to what can kill us. As I said before, again, I was recording it, but you know, I goofed. As I said before, when it comes to champions, you always want to think about this during loading screen. What is it that makes Set able to kill me? Him being close to me, and then him landing his W. So if I space myself to be far away from him and that ability, we're good to go. For Hecarim, it's him being like on me, and then it's also him ulting me. So if he doesn't ult within that fight yet, I need to make sure that I'm not putting myself in a position for him to just jump at me with his ultimate. Vex is the same way. Dodge her abilities. Zeri shouldn't really be able to kill you unless she's killed your whole entire team, in which case you're probably going to die. Thresh, if he hooks you, period. So we don't have to really watch out for a hook. Vex's abilities, and then the ult from Hecarim, and then the W from Set. I guess the ult from Set too. So that's 5 abilities we have to watch out for this game. And realistically, they're really high cooldown abilities. So then you only have to leave yourself open to watch out for her Q, her E, and then his Q. So that's 3 abilities. It's very, very easy to do. So within this next team fight, we're going to see what made me say that. So this team fight was happening. We were spacing our stuff out pretty well because we weren't getting close. That we got hit by that fear, as I said before. Watch out for the ability itself. It's not really the champion you're spacing yourself out to as an AD carry or anything squishy, really. It's about the ability that could kill you or get you killed. We don't know if Hecarim has R yet. We didn't watch it. I'm going to assume he doesn't have R because this obviously said so. But you have to think about it. Like right here, if I were Hecarim, I'd ult you. So if he doesn't ult, you can safely assume you don't have it. So then I would just chase him, kind of like you're doing. Now, once we were chasing this guy, we got to think about, okay, well, Hecarim has nothing to go on to me. Only thing that can really kill me is that set W, in which case, you realize that after he fired it off. But if we would have just thought about that, we'd be good. Again, the same thing here with Vex. It's not about her being close to you. It's about her hitting you with those abilities. So we could go up or down and really continue to start fighting. Walk around this way and start walking with them. And then you'll be able to catch up.
Because that skill shot gets pretty thin at that range anyway.
Right. So we flash, try to get her. Again, it's the greedy mentality of I just want to get the kill. You're not really thinking about like, oh, I don't have flash later. I'm going to die if Hecarim ults me. I need flash to get away from him. It's more of like, I need flash to get kills. So if we use our flash a little bit more defensively when we're playing champions that require a ton of peel, like Kog'Maw, you're good to go. When I was playing Aphelios, this is one of the hardest concepts ever, I swear. Like, saving your flash to, like, because you don't have any peel is hard. Because it's like, I can just get that kill. Last, just one more hit. But if you can win a fight next time, then why would you not? Because that fight can win you the game. This kill is not going to win you the game. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. If you get this kill, it's never going to win you the game. It can help, maybe, but it doesn't guarantee you a win. If you have flash and you're able to flash away from Hecarim, blow him up, and then kill the rest of your team, that is something that can guarantee you a win. So you got to think about how much more your flash means mid to late game than it does early. Again, we're watching out for the Hecarim W. I mean, not Hecarim W, the set W. If we just walk this way and thought about dodging that, and then we kept walking this way, you see how we're spacing ourselves back. If we just walked ourselves up, they still have to technically walk at you. I'm not saying walk around them like hug them. I'm saying walk up and then walk around, because the champ has to move to get you move up. So if you just did that, you're still kiting them enough to walk left if you can. If you start noticing you're in danger, you obviously peel off to the right, but it's giving you the ability to be closer to them. Right now we're just spaced too far. I was a really late heal by him, by the way. I didn't even realize that. Wait a second, you were damn near full. You trolled. You goofed. That's pretty much the ending of the concepts that we had. Okay. So pretty much it was just trade patterning with my support. Really want to focus on that trade pattern. As I said before, it's not really paying attention to specifically like spacing ourselves from the champion, but it's distancing ourselves from the abilities, the set R, the Hecarim R.
And imagine if I had flash in that fight.
That's true. That's actually true. Yeah, if you did have flash in that fight, this actually would have went a lot better.
It's the second time I died, at least the second time, because I tried flashing for greed instead of flashing to keep myself alive.
Right. Yeah, even if we would have just flashed back, I mean, you would have got smacked by the set. Don't get me wrong, but at least you wouldn't be that close to their team. But even if you would have read the fight better, though, like I said, and you were just backing away from the set with that R, and then you still had flash. If you were over here or over there, you would have just cleaned this fight up no problem. Look, you almost cleaned it up, and you were in the middle of them.
Yeah, this build is really strong, but as you're saying, I'm having trouble with positioning, I guess.
Right, and this, we're basically relying, when we die, we're relying on our team to clean up. And obviously that's not.
They don't have any damage without me.
Right.
At this point.
And this is when Zeri shows up. But imagine if you were here, this never would happen.
And Zeri ends up 1v3.
Right. So just because we used one flash to get a kill The ramifications of that was so damn negative. It's insane. Only time you can flash for a kill, I'll submit the late game, is if there's things that just won't kill you. Like there's some, it's very rare, but it's like the best ADC games ever, where literally nothing can kill you on the map, like at all. Nothing can kill you. Period. So then you can flash aggressively, and the only way you die is if you misstep. Look, if you just get too close. Those are the games. Those are the good games. All right, so they get Baron here, and again, I think that was pretty much it. It was just the fact that we're regretting a little bit. Our trade pattern with our ADC, we need to make sure that we're matching it, or with our support, make sure that we're matching it. Read these fights better, so that way we know what we're dodging, we know what we're spacing against. We're not spacing away from the champion, we're spacing away from the ability. And then as far as the committing, we want to make sure that we're committing to a fight to the point where we can walk away. Right here, we're not committed. We can leave. So you do.
Yeah. It's like, I can just leave.
Yeah. But imagine if we, I don't know, what if Nihilus like threw a hook and he flew in and then you tried to go and then Hecarim just ulted you. You're dead. You're dead. Period.
Yep.
So this type of situation that we want to be in, we're able to turn away and walk away beforehand. So again, we were just recapping what we went over with the replay. They asked me to do the recording, and I did mess up, but they were nice enough to stay on call while I went over the concepts with them.
Yeah, I really appreciate you repeating that. Just sorry that you had to do it again, I guess.
Yeah, it's all good. It was my fault. That's why I wasn't really tripping. OBS just changes settings sometimes. I just don't pay attention to it until it's too late. But yeah, I do appreciate that. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on my Discord, and I'll get to them. Did any more pop up during this moment, or are you pretty much good to go?
Oh no, you cleared up any kind of questions that come up. Yeah, I understand. I know what I have to work on for ADC.
Right. Again, the main thing is just that safe gold, and try to just use our flash a little bit more passively, a little bit more defensively. I think the rest of the stuff will fall into play. All of what we talked about with like greeting, a lot of what we talked about with like positioning, well, all that will just fall into play if you just play safer. You path safer, if you don't overcommit, a lot of that stuff will just bam fall in without you even realizing it. So
maybe I play my ADC more like I play my mid laner.
Yeah, that actually would probably do it. But yeah, thanks for scheduling. Have a good rest of your day. And like I said, if you need anything, let me know, all right?
Sure thing. And I look forward to the next time that I schedule you.
For sure. And I'll also send you this video, like I said, when I upload it.
Sweet. Thank you.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, and to the rest of you guys, again, I just want to say a special thanks to you again, Edgar, for letting me re-record it and staying on call. It was my fault for not getting the sound there. OBS kind of messed itself up. But yeah, if you guys are interested in coaching, coachbooker.com, of course, is where you want to go. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. Late. Have a good rest of your day or night, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for doing what? Approaching this like a coach.